All right, so again, I'm just going to go ahead and sketch that. And you probably want to use a separate sheet of paper if you're doing this. I don't believe this assignment is graded though, so you don't have to turn it in. So there's a point there, there. Oops, that's one point. There, there, over here, and there. And then it says describe the relationship. And this one, I would say this is very close to a line there. So this is this is a strong relationship. There is a strong, positive, linear relationship between fat and saturated fat. Okay, and then you want to do the next scatter plot. So I'll show you how to do that one. So going back to my lists here, I now need to make a scatter plot for part B between fat and calories. So fat was in L1 and calories was in my last column, L5. So now I'm going to go back to my stat plot and I'm going to keep my L list at L1. And I need to change my Y list now to L5. So to do that, let me zoom out a little bit here so you can see what I'm clicking on. Oh, I can just scroll down. Remember here, there's a blue L5 above your 5 buttons. So to use the blue buttons, I'm just going to hit my shift or second button, and then I can click that 5, and it will put L5 into my stat plot. Let me, that might help. And maybe not. Okay, so that's how you get those lists changed if you need to. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and zoom 9 it before I even bother. And now it looks like this. Okay, and so I would draw a sketch of that. And again, I definitely would not want it crowded like this if I was going to turn it in. Okay, and again, there appears to be another very strong, positive, linear relationship here. Strong because it's close to a line, positive because it's increasing left to right, and linear because it appears to be following a straight line rather than a curved line. So I would say there appears to be a strong, or there is a strong, positive, linear relationship between, what was this, fat and calories. Fat and calories in different kinds of cheeses, I guess we're looking at here. I should probably say that too. Okay. And then on this next part here, it says draw a scatter plot for fat versus sodium and another for cholesterol versus sodium and compare the patterns. So on this one, we're going to do something a little bit different. I need 2 different scatter plots and I need them in the same viewing window. So let's go back to my picture here. Oops, my calculator should say. And I'm going to go back into my stat plots. Go into that one. And let's see, I needed my first scatter plot to be between fat and sodium. So fat was list 1, sodium was list 4. So I'll go shift 4 or second 4 to get that. And just make sure I keep in mind here that these ones are going to be in red. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn on a second stat plot so that I have two of these in the same window. And I'm going to turn this one on. And this one, it says I need my second scatter plot to be between cholesterol versus sodium. So cholesterol was list 3, second 3. And sodium was list 4, second 4. So now I can see I've got that one in there. I've got 2 plots on. So I'll go zoom 9. And I've got all kinds of things going on here. And notice they're all red. Let's change that. I'm going to go back to my stat plot. My first plot was 1. Let's make my second plot something other than red so I can distinguish between the two. When I use my over arrows, I'll pick blue so that it's really obvious. Back to my graph. There we go. So my red dots is my scatter plot of fat versus sodium, and my blue dots is cholesterol versus sodium. And I don't know if easy it is to see on your screen, but these are the red ones over here, and these are the blue ones over here. So they both appear to be kind of positive and linear, like this one's kind of going this way, and this one's kind of going this way. What does it also say? It says compare the patterns. Are there any clusters or outliers? So both of them appear to have a cluster kind of down around here in this Y range. And they both appear to have an outlier way up here and then way up here for the second scatter plot. Let's talk about that. All right, so they each have a cluster. Let's see, what are we doing? Fat versus sodium, cholesterol versus sodium. So the sodium is the same for both. It's the cholesterol and the fat that varied. So there's clusters between, let me get my actual values on here, and I'll show you how to do that actually. Go back here so I can show you what I'm doing. Doop. If you hit the trace button, right there, the trace button, it will actually highlight a point, and as you go left to right, it will go from point to point to point so that you can see the X and Y values for each of those points. So here in this cluster that I'm at, it looks like X is 3, so X was fat, and Y is 320, which was sodium. So looks like we're in the 320 range for sodium, or like the 300 range for sodium, I guess you could say, between 300 and 350-ish. So there's a cluster for both fat and cholesterol in the 300 to 350 range of sodium. I'll say that. There are clusters for both fat and cholesterol around 300 to 350. These are milligrams of sodium. And both scatter plots appear to have outliers. And I say appear to have because we don't know for sure that they are truly outliers. We didn't use math to verify that. So they just appear to be outliers as far as we can tell. And those outliers, I actually have one highlighted there, is around 520 milligrams of soda at 520 milligrams of sodium. Okay. And that's it for 3.1.